Hello, a very good morning to you all. It's a little bit overcast here. It looks like it's probably going to rain again. But we have got some lovely, lovely gemstone jewellery today. Very quick, easy makes to do. Beautiful rondelles, lovely little components. I'm using some spacers, which are like stardust. Lots of lovely colours, lots of gemstones, even an extender clasp. And your kits today are going to be enough to make a full necklace and a matching bracelet. So I'm going to take you over to the website. I've just been having a little look at the website. It looks like, I don't know if it's had a bit of a revamp, to be honest, but there's things on there I've not seen before. A little peruse. And I'll probably do a little bit of shopping later. So if you want to come and join us today, head over to totallybeads.co.uk, which is our website, and you can get the kits to make the Kalinda necklaces, which is what I'm going to be playing with today. So you can head into the video tutorials either here in this section or here, but as I had a little scroll down, I think it's because I know what I'm looking for usually, so I tend to type it in. There seems to be this, which is really cool, which I've seen before. But if you keep going down to the bottom, won't be there now. Shop by colour. Love that. So if you know you want to make jewellery in a particular colour, but you're not sure what components you'll need or want, then you can have a little search this way. We've got some recent video tutorials there, and then I've just been reading what our customers say, which is really, really lovely. Lots of positive, nice feedback, which of course, you know, I always vouch for Totally Beads, but it's lovely to hear that you're happy too. And then a little bit about us, and you know, we're the largest supplier of beads for jewellery making in the UK. That's a good thing to have, isn't it? So enough of me perusing the website. Let's have a little look in our video tutorial section, and you can see what our kits are today. So these are some of the pieces that I've been working on with you over the last couple of lives. Today is the Kalinda gemstone jewellery. So if you have a look here, we have 10% off all of our beautiful makes for you today. They do vary in price because we are using genuine gemstones. So of course, some will be more pricier than others, but I think the most expensive one there is the blue lace agate, and blue lace is I find quite hard to source, to be honest. And for £10.79, you can make a full necklace with extended chain and a bracelet too. So that's a real bargain, I think. So we've got the blue lace agate. We've got some blue tiger's eye for you. We've got gorgeous gold quartz. We've got purple lepidolite. We've also got red jasper, and we've got turquoise howlite as well. Howlite is a wonderful stone that kind of mimics a lot of other gemstones, and this has been dyed to look like a gorgeous turquoise. So beautiful colour in that one. I'm also going to be using some rondelles for you today in these makes, and some lovely little spacer beads as well. You can change up this make to suit however you want. I kind of wanted to make kind of like a bit of an asymmetrical design, really. If you wanted to, of course, you could just put all of the gemstone chips along the bottom and the rondelles around the back. You could do whatever you wanted. You might want to just do a section in the middle across here and then split it that way. But I thought I would put them together like this. So these are the makes today. This one is your blue lace agate. Of course, this is making a bracelet up as well as the necklace, which means you're going to get an awful lot of your gemstone chips and your rondelles as well in there. You're also going to be getting the spacer beads, your tiger tail to string it with. You're going to get a clasp, jump rings, culottes, crimp beads, and an extender chain as well, which can make it a little bit better if you want to adjust it, if you're going to be gifting this to somebody, if you're going to be wearing it with different outfits and you'd like it to sit lower, higher, whatever you want. I always do like an extender chain, and they're very, very pretty as well. So no pictures of the bracelets today, but I have got them here on the mat, so I will show you. So this is your gorgeous, absolutely beautiful blue lace agate. We have the Kalinda gemstone necklace in the blue tiger's eye as well. Sorry, I should have showed you the rondelles that I'm using. So you can see I'm changing the findings. Some are with gold stardust spaces and some are with silver. And then of course your findings will be gold or silver as well. I'm using 3x5 rondelles. So in this case, I'm using some black ones, which I think look gorgeous against the gold with those tiger eye as well. Your blue tiger eye is it's just less brown. They're really like usually a tiger eye has got kind of like a beautiful golden kind of cat's eye sheen to it. This has got darker colours in it and I think it looks beautiful against the black. So they're your rondelles, 3x5. Your chips, of course, will be all sorts of sizes and shapes, and I think that just gives a really lovely texture to your string in jewellery today. This one is your golden quartz. I absolutely love this. It's so pretty. So again, I've put this with the gold findings, and then the rondelles I'm using are ivory in this colourway. You can see here there really is a mix of your colours. Mine look definitely look more kind of yellow. These look more clear, but you're going to have all sorts of little speckles in that one. Really pretty. Only £8.09 for your bracelet and your necklace. We have the lapidolite, which is gorgeous, very popular gemstone. And also, I think probably one of your more expensive gemstones as well. Most people, when they think of a purple gemstone, of course they think of amethyst. I really like the lapidolite. I think it's really, really very pretty. It's got kind of like a softer saturation of colour to it. You can get some really darker ones as well and some paler ones, but I just think it's a really beautiful colour. Of course, I've paired those with, it says silver haze. They're not. I will check on that for you. The silver haze is with the, I think it is with the blue lace. I've used a purple, I think, with this one. Well, you can see there. So I will check on what rondelles you'll get in that one when we finish the live, just to check. It could be a typo. It could be the fact that we've paired it with something else, but I've paired them with these ones here. And they are on the silver findings and stardust spacer beads. We also have this one, which I love the contrast of colours on here. So I've gone for the gold findings with this one, with the red jasper. And you can see how gorgeous that red jasper is. Really lovely, bold, gorgeous colour. Warm, rich tones in that one. I've gone for the pure white 3x5 glass pearl rondelles. And your stardust spacer beads are 6mm in size as well. So they just add that little kind of pop of colour and again texture, because they are stardust. They've got that lovely kind of coating of almost glitter finish to it, and I think that just gives a little pop where that break and change is in that pattern and design. Of course, you can do whatever you want to do in terms of how you put these together. And then lastly, we've got the turquoise howlite, only £7.19. Still getting 10% off every kit today. Making one necklace and bracelet. This is on your silver coloured findings. Lovely turquoise howlite there for you. And again, they're saying silver haze, and they're not. So these have been put with kind of a blue aqua. So I will just check on the description there for you. Sometimes I think we just pop what's in the products down there, but we want to make sure you know what lovely colours that you're getting when you're making your choices in your kit. I did have a quick look this morning, but I didn't scroll down, so I didn't check in the description. So they're your lovely colours for you today. Your blue lace agate, your blue tiger eye, your golden quartz, your lapidolite, your red jasper, and your turquoise howlite as well. All of your Kalinda kits today are going to be making up a necklace and a bracelet in this design, and I'm going to show you how to make that just now. So I'm going to head back over to my main page. If my camera wants to play along and be well behaved, that'd be great. And I will, oh, what's going on? There you go, clicked on the wrong button. User error. So let me say a quick good morning to you all before we start making. I've got the gorgeous Rachel in a cloudy Barrow. Heather's in as well. Hello to you, Heather. Good morning to Camille. She says, how are you? I'm good, thank you. She's a bit dull and cold here. Yeah, it's a bit drab. It's a bit drab, isn't it, Camille? It's been a mixed bag this weekend. It did feel warm, but oh my goodness, did we have some rain. It was a proper deluge. I like that word. It was rain very, very heavy. Went for a nice walk on the beach though, which was nice, and went out for some dinner for my mother-in-law's birthday. What else did I do? The usual, washing, ironing. I've got my little one having a group school photograph today, so I had to make sure he looked immaculate before he went in. I'm sure 5 minutes into school he'll be caked in mud and all the rest of it. Sometimes he comes out and I think, where have you been? Where have you been to be that filthy? But yeah, I've had a lovely weekend. Have you had a nice weekend? What have you been up to? Joanne says, good morning, Natalie. Good morning. All overcast here. I hope everyone had a fab weekend. Seen the red arrows flying over as well, which was quite exciting. The plane's super fast. Good morning to Mina. Peace and love back at you, Anastasia. She's in Atlanta, Georgia. She says it's 69 degrees. Hope all is well for you and your family. We are all good. Thank you, Anastasia. Thank you so much for asking. Elaine's in as well. Hello to you. Good morning to Sally Ann. How are you doing? She says it's overcast in Barnsley. Judith's in as well. Hello to everybody. Sorry, Sally Ann, if I've just didn't mean to mimic. I knew someone from Barnsley and I used to love his accent. He's got a lovely, lovely accent. Good morning to Jan. How are you doing? Oh, Jan's got the sun in Sudbury. Just me's in. She says, love the gemstones. Beautiful. I say she. I'm assuming it's a she. It might not be. They say, love the gemstones. Thank you, Just Me. I love them too. I like working with chips. I just like doing straight stringing with chips. Of course, you can do your tree of life and things like that, but these are lovely, really, really lovely. Thanks, Mina. No problem. I'm sure we can get it sorted. Good morning to Carol. Hello to Anne. Yolanda's in. Sheila's in as well. I've got loads of you in today, which is absolutely lovely. So let me take you down on the mat. Let's hope the camera stays behaving. You can see all the gorgeous gemstones I've got, and I've got bracelets to show you as well. So this is the lepidolite. You can see all I'm doing is I'm adding on my rondelles. For the necklace, I'm going to add on 31 rondelles. Then I'm popping that beautiful stardust spacer. If you have a little look at that, it's like it's dipped in glitter. Then I'm going to add on about 10 centimeters of my gemstone chips. Again, there's plenty here for you to play with. You can change how you want these positioned. Another spacer, back to another 31 rondelles, another stardust spacer, and then 10 centimeters of my gemstone chips. And then I'm just adding on that little extender chain as well, which means if I want it to be shorter, I can attach it at the jump ring right next to the culotte, and then I can move that down wherever I want it to be positioned. And it's got that lovely little droplet finish on the end of it, which I think is just lovely. I've been making my niece some prom jewellery, and I've added a little extender chain on as well because I want to make sure she's happy with it, with how it fits on her dress. So an extender chain, especially ones as pretty as these. I know it's just a little drop, but I think those little finishes just make all the difference. You could, of course, if you want to, add a little ball pin on the end of that, add some rondelles or some chips in as well if you fancy. So that one is the lepidolite. I've got the gorgeous turquoise howlite, which is also on the silver. So you can just see the gorgeous, bold, beautiful colour on there. Really, really lovely. I just like all the little kind of little markings on them. Really pretty. Thanks, Mina. Really appreciate that. She said she's spoken to the warehouse and they're gonna just update what rondelles we're using in the description. Ooh, Camille says she used to see the red arrows all the time at various bases where we were at. Well, they're quite I have seen them a few times before, but it's always really exciting when they go overhead. They make such a noise. Heather says, I made 2 sets of the Onica one, peridot, and on steel blue. Very, very nice. I hope you enjoyed making them. Of course, your necklaces today also come with enough to make a little bracelet. When it comes to making the bracelet, I've just obviously changed the size. So I've gone for 3 rondelles, the beautiful spacer bead. I've gone for about 4 centimetres of chips, which is about 1.5 inches. And then I've gone for the same again on the other side. So I just think it gives a really pretty look. I do like having that mix of texture. Of course, your chips are going to be varied in sizes. And then that little stardust bead just to add a little accent. And there's no extender chain on the bracelet. If you wanted to, you might think, I know exactly the length I want to make my necklace. I'd rather put the extender on the bracelet, then you can do that as well. But this is all of what you're getting in your kit, your materials to make all of this. We've got this gorgeous one. It looks a bit like citrine, but it is a golden quartz. I think they look just dreamy with those rondelles. And if I just show you those up close, you can see you've got some little markings. You've got a really beautiful golden sheen in these gemstone chips. And again, enough to make a lovely little bracelet. Quite bridal. If it's ivory, it's quite bridal for me. Again, if you wanted to multi-buy the kits, you might decide, you know, I really want this, but I want it on the silver. You could swap your findings over as well if you wanted to. I'm using 3 of the stardust beads in the necklace and 3 in the bracelet as well. So you should get 6 stardust beads in each of your kit. The blue lace is so pretty. Look at that. It's got an ethereal quality to it, I think, blue lace. It's like a whisper. It's very, very soft blue. Absolutely gorgeous. And as I say, becoming quite a hard to source gemstone, really. So that is your necklace and bracelet in Kalinda in the blue lace, again on the silver. This one is your blue tiger eye. And I love this with the gold. I really, really do. Of course, you could put it with the silver if you want to. I love the shape of these chips. Some of these are like really more elongated. And just if you have a closer inspection, you can see you've still got that tiger eye brown in there. But you also have much deeper, darker colours. I think sometimes this is referred to as hawk's eye. I could be wrong, that could be a different one. But it is your tiger eye, often representing that kind of strength and protection. And of course, Camellia, the red jasper. So this is the red jasper. I've not made a bracelet up in the red jasper, so I'm going to do a bracelet for you in the red jasper today, and I'll probably do a necklace in the lepidolite. I'm sure I'll get a chance to do them both. The red jasper is just gorgeous. If I can just look, just that one's absolutely beautiful. I look how sheen it is. Ooh. And then you've also got, like, if I just pick this one out, can you see it looks like just a line of almost like clear quartz just running through it? It's not, but I just love how unique each one is. And then you've got kind of that one split with like a beautiful earthy tone at the end. Really, really gorgeous, rich, gorgeous colour. And I just had to put that with the gold. So let's start our necklace off. I'm going to get my tiger tail because I forgot to get that out. And I'm going to cut about 50 centimetres of the tiger tail. So I'm just going to lay that against my ruler, and I'll tell you what that is in inches as well. So that's 30, 40, 50. So that would be about 20 inches, I would say, is 50 centimetres. I just want to make sure I've got plenty really to a string with. Of course, I'll be adding that extender chain in anyway. So I'm just going to cut my tiger tail off. If it's got any little kinks in, you can run it through your fingers just to kind of get it into that nice position. Can you see okay here? Again, I'm doing that thing with my camera. Should I move over? I've got all sorts on my desk. So I tend to start, usually when I'm designing something, and I work my way out. What I'm going to be doing with this, because I know exactly the measurements and how much I'm going to be putting on, I'm just going to start straight away with my findings and work my way around. So I'm going to take my culotte and my crimp beads out of my kit. So for my necklace, I'm going to need 2 culottes and I'm going to use 4 crimp beads because I like to double crimp, as I'm sure you know if you've been here before. So double crimping just means by adding on that extra crimp bead, it just makes it all the more secure. This isn't a particularly heavy piece. Sometimes when you're using gemstones, it can make your jewellery a little bit heavier, but the chips I don't find are that heavy. And of course, the rondelles I'm using are just kind of glass, so they've got that lovely lightweight feeling to it. So I'm adding 2 of my crimp beads on. I'm going to bring the last one up and just squish that down. You can of course crimp with crimping pliers, but I tend to find that just bringing those both together, a little bit of focus, thank you very much, and just flattening them will hold that culotte in place. I slide my culotte up so they're sitting in the rounded section. And then I'm just going to fold it over with my fingers, check it's nicely lined up, and then just with my chain nose pliers, gentle little push on the end to close. Now I'm going to start with my rondelles. So I'm going to want 31 rondelles here. So I'm going to take my Tigertail and I'm just going to trim open the strand. Now you can pick them up one by one, but sometimes what I find is a little bit easier to do and a little bit quicker. Just move that Tigertail over that wants to come and join me. I'm just going to pick, you can, I say, pick them up, or you can just string from one onto the next. So a nice quick make. I'm just positioning my Tigertail up through the beads, which are still on the string. And then I should be able to just transfer them over. So 2, 4, 6, 'It's not working out as I planned, but there you go. I'll do a little count at the end. So I'm going to add 31 of my rondelles on. Be probably quicker just to pick them up one by one. So I tend to bend the thread back and pop my Tigertail in. Yeah, it'd be quicker to just pick them up one by one, I think. Let's do it that way. So I'm just going to pinch them. If I keep them lined up between my fingers, then I can tend to get a few on in one go. I'm going to do a little count and see how many I've got. So I'm just going to go for 31 to begin with. Oh, thanks, Anastasia. She says, Natalie, these are just beautiful. I haven't seen a rondelle like these, so I need these in my collection and some of the chips. The rondelles are beautiful. They're rounded, really gorgeous shape, but they're kind of like, almost like you've just flattened and squished the bead. And I love the shape of them. I do love using them. And of course, we've got hundreds available in terms of all the colours that you can choose from. Well, usually we do anyway. I don't know what the stock's like. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. 2, 4, 6, 8 is 20, 2, 4, 6, 8 is 30, and I just want 31. You can add as many as you want into your design. So once I've got my rondelles on, hopefully I counted those properly, I'm just going to add on my first little spacer bead, which you can see is very, very shimmery. It's 6mm in size. It's got that lovely stardust coating on it. There you go. Jan says, I've just ordered the blue lace and the turquoise and used my points, so I only paid £8.37. Bargain. Brilliant. We do have a point system. And what do points make? Prizes. Well, they don't. They equate to discount, which is always worth doing. I like to save my points up and then get them. And I always think, oh well, it's kind of where it's like I'm not even paying for postage now. I might as well get this, that, and the other. Right, when it comes to adding on my chips, I'm going to add about 10 centimeters of gemstones. Now I've not counted, I've not said you're going to use this amount or that amount, because obviously every gemstone is completely different in terms of its size and its shape. In terms of your chips. Now you can do the same thing again, you can line it up, and sometimes because your drill hole is going to be in a variety of different places on the chip, it can be easier to do that. But what I like to do is I like to look at each of them. I'm not too concerned about which one I'm putting where. If you really wanted to, you could sit and pick through them, and you could be like, right, I want all of these darker toned ones or ones in this shape, and literally just picking them up and threading them onto the tiger tail. So look at the colours of them, they're so pretty. So I'm just being a little bit mindful of where the drill holes are. Sometimes the drill hole can be very close to the edge, so this one, it's quite close to the edge. It comes out centrally, but I'm just going to pop that one to the side. I've got plenty here to kind of afford to be picky and choosy. So I'm just going to add on about 10 centimeters of my chips. And I might tend to put like a smaller one, maybe just next to that stardust bead, and then have them maybe slightly larger towards the center of the section. There's not much, there's no rules with this, just pick them up and have fun. I'm going to take that one out because it's not purple enough for me. And let's have a little measure to see how much I've put on. So that's about 7. I'm going to add a few more. And you don't have to be overly precise. I just want it so it's similar on both sections. So I've got that kind of opposite placement. Right, I think we should probably be about 9 centimeters. Yeah. So just adding on, making sure my tiger tail is going through the little drill hole. There or thereabouts. I've got 10 centimeters, which is about 4 inches. I'm then going to add on another stardust spacer bead. Mina says I had £10 in reward points, so I used it last week to order more gemstone chips. So you're ahead of the game then, are you, Mina? Are you making this, or are you going to be making something else with your gemstone chips? Once I've popped my little spacer on, I'm going to add on another 31 of my rondelles. I'll give these a little count in a minute. I'll measure it all out for you and I'll show you how long mine are, and then obviously you've got that extender on as well, which you can change the length with, and of course you can make these as long or as small as you want to. You can change the pattern in which you're putting on the chips and how you're putting on the rondelles, whatever you want. Let's have a count. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 2, 4, 6, 8, 20, 2, 4, 6. So 31 of your rondelles again. And then that should make that section. Again, about 4 inches, which is about 10 centimetres. So I'm just kind of popping them on in tens really. That will be my centre down here with the spacer. And then I've got that lovely kind of opposite section with a similar length. So I'm going to pop on my spacer bead and then another 10 centimetres or 4 inches of my chips. Mina says, I make simple string and gemstone chip bracelets on Tigertail and teenagers go mad on them. Shame I couldn't get rose quartz as they went out of stock after my order. Yeah, some of them are just really popular. I tend to find that amethyst tends to be a very popular seller. Rose quartz is always a very popular gemstone as well. I mean, everybody likes different things, but some people are looking at them for their kind of metaphysical kind of spiritual properties that are attributed to lots of gemstones. People are drawn to them just because they like the colour of them. And obviously it changes. So for me, I might be always suggest that I'm drawn to blue, but actually lately I've been very much drawn to green gemstones. I think today, although I adore the blue lace, I'm loving the red jasper. It depends what mood I'm in. Julie says, oh no, they all just fell into my basket. Thanks, Julie. I hope you have fun making them. They are really, really easy to do. You are just straight stringing. But it's nice to do, you know, I always say if you've got beautiful components, you don't need a particularly, you know, fancy design. You can make simple, elegant jewellery. And I do think they're kind of a bit timeless and a bit ageless as well. Like, you know, anyone can wear these. Mina's just said how she has a lot of teenagers really liking them. I know I would wear them, and I'm not going to tell you how old I am. I think lots of people will like them. And I also think they're suitable for lots of genders as well. I had somebody ask if I could fix their pearl necklace the other day, and I was delighted that it was a young man. Sound old, don't I? Young man. There you go, 10 centimetres bob on there and thereabout. You need to make sure that obviously as your chips move round, they might, get slightly closer together. So I just want a similar length to this section here. I'm actually going to add a couple more on. I don't know whether I've miscounted my rondelles there. 2, 4, 6, 8, 6. Yeah, I put 2 extra rondelles on. I thought I'd missed it off because I wanted 31. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to add the odd little extra one on, just so those lengths are similar in size. Right, all I need to do now is just add on my culotte onto the other side. So I'm going to get the shape that I want, this being the centre down here. I'm going to create that nice curve. I'm going to put my culotte on, and then my first crimp bead. So again, I'm going to just let that crimp bead drop right down in the middle. I'm going to come in with my pliers and I'm going to give it press down to tighten, and then I'm going to add an extra crimp bead on. And flatten that too. And then I can cut off any excess by giving that a little trim. And then I will fold over, making sure my crimp beads are just hidden inside. Pressing over with my fingers first, making sure it's all nicely lined up. And a gentle press to close. So you can add on your lobster clasp and your jump rings. If you want to, you can add on the extender chain as well. This is the beautiful little extender chain. So the extender chain is, without the dangle, 5 centimetres in length, which is 2 inches. So that's going to add on that extra length if you want that. The jump rings I have included are 5 by 1 millimetre outer diameter, so fairly small and dainty. If I attach these on, then I will show you the length of this design. Obviously I have added on a whole extra 2 rondelles and 2 chips, so I will just measure it for you as is now, because I think Heather was asking what length the necklace comes to without the extender, weren't you, Heather? Right, just going to press that down again, because what we want to do is we want to make sure that those 2 little holes in the culotte are lined up so I can get that jump ring through. So the necklace as is, but obviously without the little lobster clasp. At the moment, lots of measuring today, in centimetres is 45 centimetres, which in inches, that's 12. Is about 18 inches, which I think is a very good, nice size. That's how it looks, all done and ready to go. I just need to add on my extender. So depending on which colourway you've got, you can have it in gold or you can have it in silver. All I'm going to do is just attach my lobster clasp to the jump ring as usual, and then add the extender chain onto the other jump ring on the opposite side. So if I just open up the jump rings that I've attached, I'm going to take the last link on the extender chain and thread that through before closing it over, just moving those pliers so my jump ring is moving in the opposite direction. It's going away from me. So to open it, I'm going to get 2 pairs of pliers. I'm going to give it a little turn towards me to open, only by, you know, a millimetre or so, just enough that I can thread that lobster clasp on nice and easy. Again, all that's in your kit as well. And there is the necklace. Done and beautiful. When it comes to the bracelet, I'm going to be taking, oh, my Tigertail's all fallen off my reel. I'm going to take about 8 inches. Let's get this cut. So I'm going to take 8 inches of my Tigertail, which is that 20 centimetres? Yeah, 20 centimetres Tigertail is 8 inches. I've written that down. I don't need to measure that out. And I'm going to do exactly the same. Again, I know how I want everything placed. This time I'm going to use the red jasper and the gold findings. You can add extender chain onto this as well if you want to buy any extras. You can get them on the website. Let me get all my bits and bobs out. Look how gorgeous they look together. Absolutely dreamy. So I'm going to start off again with my culottes and my crimp beads. Camille says gorgeous. Thank you very much. Mina says, I don't know what Camille had said, but she's responding saying, my son is the same, gives my jewellery as presents to the girls in his year. Oh, they must be swooning after him, Mina. Yeah, Frank often rents out my services. He always says, oh, will you make such and such a bracelet? Can you make this person a bracelet? I'm like, yeah. Right, just bringing that crimp bead up to the end, bringing the other one up to the end. Don't feel like I've squished that down like I should have done. Not done the best job at that, but I could cut off and just add some more on, but I'm fairly confident that they're pretty fixed. Folding over the culotte and a gentle press to hold it down. Now this time when I'm doing my bracelet, I'm just going to add 13 of my rondelles on. I'm just going to open those up off the string. And I will count, check I've got that right. So I've got that little section, which is about 4 centimetres of chips or 1.5 inches, not of chips, sorry, of rondelles. I'm then going to add my spacer. This time I'm doing my gorgeous gold colourway. So I'm just going to pick out a gorgeous Stardust spacer. Heather says it's making day tomorrow as she's in work today and the kids are back in school, so it should be quiet. What are you going to make? Have you got any idea what you're going to make? Oh, wow. Mina's very busy. Right, now I'm going to add on, oh, look at them. Just look at them. Absolutely gorgeous. Absolutely beautiful. Look at that one. Oh. I'm easily pleased. I am easily pleased. Right, so when it comes to the chips, I'm just going to be adding on 4 centimetres of the chips. So I've got that same little section. So I'm just going to pick out a few. They all come in a variety of different shapes and sizes. So I'm going to add on about 1.5 inches. Again, I'm not counting because they all come in different shapes and sizes. So that one and that one. And it depends on where the drill hole's positioned as well. So for example, that's going to be much wider because my drill hole's there. Oh, and then over there. Whereas if I've got this one, it's going to be much thinner. So I'm not counting out how many chips I'm using. I'm just measuring out the size. Just love this kind of russet red colour. Really, really pretty. Oh, that one's like a little cube. Right, so let's just add on a couple more. And check where I'm up to. I only want 1.5 inches, so I think that will be enough. So that should be about 4 centimetres. Again, I'm just going to be adding 3 spacer beads in the Amethyst 222 says, oh my goodness, love, love, love the Lepidolite necklace, Natalie. It's mysteriously landed in my basket. Who'd have thought, Amethyst 222, with a name like yours, you'd be drawn to a purple gemstone? Okay, now I've added on my my lovely spacer. I'm going to be just adding in, let me get my bracelet. So going for this, if you can see that, that's what I'm kind of making now. I'm going to be going back for my rondelles. I want 13 of my rondelles. Seven. And then my last spacer bead. And then finishing off again with my gemstone chips. You can choose whether you want to pop the bigger ones on, the smaller ones on. I just want to hold each of them up and see if you can see the lovely patterns and colours in them. Ooh, look at that one. So you might want to put the large chips on the necklace and the smaller chips on the bracelet. Kind of want them to kind of butt up nicely together. So I'm not being too discerning how I kind of put them on really, but I do want to make sure that they sit nice and flush. And then I'm going to finish off with the smaller, just up to that culotte. Doesn't have to be completely exact, but just so we have fairly even sizing. And then I'm going to add my other culotte. So I'm just going to get that into kind of a bracelet shape. I want that curve. I'm going to pop my culotte on. and make sure that's sitting right down next to the chip. I'm going to pick up one crimp bead and let that fall inside of the culotte, making sure that there's no major gaps in my tiger tails knot. Not having the best luck with these crimp beads today. It will be user error. Let's try a different one. Just want to make sure that I've got that. That's better. Pressed fully so there's no major movement in that. And again, I'm going to double crimp. So I'm going to slide another one on top. I did make a mistake the other day. I was using what I thought were crimp beads and was like, why aren't these bending properly? Why can't I crimp my crimp beads? And then realising they weren't crimp beads, they were like 2mm spacers. They were tiny, and I'd just picked the wrong thing up out of my stash. And I was like, oh, well, no wonder you can't crimp bead. That's not a crimp bead. You can, it's not going to hold though. Right, trimming off any excess tiger tail. Again, folding over that culotte and a light bit of pressure. And then all I need to do is add on my findings. In this case, I'm using the gold just to match my spacers. So I've got those lovely little jump rings, which are 5x1 outer diameter, a little bit smaller than what I usually use, but they do, I think it just looks dainty. And then I'm still going to use that 12mm clasp because it's just less fiddly and it will still fit through the jump ring, of course, to attach. So I'm just going to give that a little wiggle to close first to make sure it's fully aligned. And I'm going to slide that on through and then add my clasp. And then on the other side, I'm just going to attach my jump ring and close. Of course, if you do want to get any extra extenders, you can buy them on the Totally Beads website, or if you think I don't want to add the extender chain to my necklace, you will have one in your kit, and the gold one looks like this. You can, of course, if you want to make it shorter, just open up the links on that chain too. So I've got lots of lovely stuff all over my desk. I hope you enjoyed making along with me today. These are the Kalinda gemstone necklaces. You can get them in blue lace agate, blue tiger eye, gold quartz, purple lepidolite, which I demoed, red jasper, which I demoed, the bracelet, and the turquoise howlite as well. They do differ in price. I think the turquoise howlite, I think, was the most cost effective of the kits today at just £7.19, and the most extravagant was the blue lace at a whole £10.79 for a full gemstone necklace and bracelet with extender. They're brilliant prices. You're all having a lovely chit chat between yourselves, so I don't know what I've missed. If there's any questions, do let me know. Do drop me a comment. Camille says, thank you, Natalie. Lovely tutorial. Take the rest of the day off. Oh, if only, Camille. I've got so much to do, and I've got to tidy up because we should be having a visitor coming rather soon. So that's what I'm going to do, and then a meeting at 11. So thank you for being with me today. Jan says, these are just gorgeous. Oh, thanks, Jan. Just me says they're beautiful, very pretty, says Judith. Lovely tutorial as always, says Heather. Anastasia says, thank you for this class, and also you've enabled me in shop more for different things. Oh, well, that's good. Variety is the spice of life, Anastasia. If you can be with me on Wednesday, I'm going to be making some multi-strand chain necklaces with you, which are a little bit different, very straightforward to do, and I think would look particularly lovely with whatever you wanted to wear them with. Anastasia says, everyone have a blessed day and I'll see you on Wednesday. And I echo that. I hope you all have a wonderful start to your week. Thank you so much for being with me today. It's been a pleasure to be with you as always, and I look forward to seeing you on Wednesday. So take care everyone, be good, keep making and stay happy.